Raw milk is the center of the food production here at Air to Ground Farms. And we've been using this milking machine for
Over 2 years now.
nearly daily, and especially daily since the last time we made a video about the Melasty milking machine. Hi, I'm Shelly.
And I'm Rich.
Welcome to Air to Ground Farms. We want to do a product review today.
Yeah, our Melasty TK1PS machine milker. We are in no way affiliated with Melasty. They didn't send us anything. We don't get anything for this review. We just wanted to give you our honest opinion after using this thing like 2,000 times probably or more for a full 2 years.
We know that a lot of our viewers are also homesteaders, small farms, people who want to do their own food, have a resource for their own food. And having a quality milker is really important to our lifestyle. And whenever we came across this one, we were very intrigued by a few of the different features on it. And mainly the one that I liked the most is the clean in place option. So that is why we went with this milking machine. So let's break it down and get into the nuts and bolts. See what I did there?
I do.
Of this machine.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. We still have an issue with the machine that we don't love, and we'll get to that one too.
That's for sure. Okay. Well, I could tell you one thing. It gets its use, and you can see that this machine is really dirty on the outside because it's with our cows in that barn where they come in and out twice a day and get milked. This part is clean. It gets cleaned weekly, and on the inside it gets cleaned twice a day. But this part over here, this machine, it's gross.
Yeah, the highlight feature of the Melasty is that it is a clean in place milking machine. And what that means is you do all of the milking and everything that you need, and then after you have poured up the milk, you put the machine back together and you use the hoses or the teacups, and you just suck in water and a soap mix, and then more water.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have water and soap down here.
Okay.
We could do a quick in-place clean demonstration so that they know what clean in place even means, because so many people have to take their lines all in every single day.
Okay.
It's important.
All right.
I'm going to plug it in, and I have some soap and water down here. This is totally impromptu, but let's do a quick, this is how we do it.
Okay.
And then we'll just dump this out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, plugging in.
So after milking, we have a couple of buckets. Melasty recommends 3. We use 2. They recommend a warm water, a soapy water, and then a hot water. We use a warm soapy water and then a hot water. So that's the way we do it. And once we're finished, we do this clean in place maneuver.
Okay.
About to get loud.
Loud. Good. We're just showing a demonstration on how it's done. So it just sucks that water up into the line and cleans the milk out of that line. Perfect. Now, whenever we do this out in the barn, it's a whole gallon, or actually 2.5 gallons of water. Okay, whenever we do that out in the barn, we're doing 2.5 to 3 gallons of water, of the soapy water, and the same with the fresh water. That was just a quick demonstration on how it can be a, quote, clean in place machine to get all of your lines and your claw all inside here sanitized without you having to take them off and take them in. Perfect.
Once we've cleaned the lines in place, this bucket comes inside for a wash. These things get washed separately. We let it run a lot longer after the water, and that just pulling air through it dries all of the hoses, which is important. Okay. All right, we're going to take this apart as if we were going to do the weekly cleaning for the hoses. And we will normally bring all of this into the sink and go through the cleaning process on those. These hoses just come off of everything, and then these come off, and this claw comes apart.
This comes off, and then you've got your seal that goes around it. That comes off. We take that off and we wash it after each use and hang it out to dry out in a special place out in the barn.
This right here is called a pulsator, and it's what gives you the pulsating suction for milking. It is a constant vacuum machine. So the motor turns a pump which pulls a vacuum into this big chamber down here, and then the frame of the machine is actually part of the vacuum chamber, and then the pulsator is what pulsates back and forth between the different teat cups. And that's one thing that we really like about this one is that constant vacuum.
Let me mention this real quick about these pulsators. With this Melasty unit, when we purchased it, they send an entire maintenance kit with you. And the thing that they do is they send 2 of these pulsators, which is really cool. One day, do you see this right here? I'll tell y'all a quick story. This right here, how it's bent like this, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be down here. And we bent it back as far as we could without, we don't want to risk breaking it. Our, at the time, new Artie Jersey milk cow, she she didn't know how to exit, and she was quite wild when she first went in there the first few times to be milked. And she ended up a couple of times it sits between our cows, and she ended up just pummeling it, knocking this whole thing over, dragging the hoses with her. It was just an absolute chaotic mess. And at the time, she bent this, it went way back onto the ground. So it can take a licking, but on one of those escapades that she had through there, it broke our other pulsator. And so that was awesome because we had this other one that they sent. So we've been using this ever since. And when it got time, you get busy on a farm, y'all. And it got time to do this this video, and I was thinking about, hey, let's make sure we talk about the pulsator. And we realized, oh, that other one, our spare, is kind of broke now. It's kind of like having a flat spare tire. It's going to do you no good.
Yeah,
So we realized we need to order another one of these to have in backup.
we bought this from MIDI Supply. Melasty is the name of the machine. It's a Turkish-made product. MIDI supplies the machines here in the United States. So one of the things that MIDI offers is all of the different replacement parts for the thing. And we need a couple. She mentioned that the on-off is just a little plastic knob on top of the switch here. And a piece of plastic broke on it. So we need a new little knob. We need a new pulsator. But for the most part, we've got over 2,000 uses on this thing, and it still just keeps right on ticking.
Oh yeah, well over that, because we went to milking twice a day.
Yeah. And right now we're milking 3 cows twice a day.
Yes, with this little machine, and it is working really, really well. I mean, but your machine is going to take a beating,
Yeah.
whenever you're out there with animals and they're going to pee and poop, and it's going to be rainy and all of the things. Okay, so now we need to.
So pros and cons, like if we were to list them
Oh.
out, the clean in place is a pro, the constant vacuum is a pro. I think its durability and the fact that it's lasted a long time is a pro. We discussed the fact that there are replacement parts that come with it when you order it, and replacement parts are easy to get for it. It is 110 volts, so you don't need some kind of special power going to it. It's a 9.5 amp motor. So even like we've got it running on a 20 amp circuit right now, standard type of barn circuit. So all of that I think is really good. Our biggest con on this machine is something that we talked about
This
during
particular model.
this model.
Yeah.
The TK1PS is something we talked about in detail last year. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to it at the end and in the description down below, where we talked about the fact that some portion of this machine freezes when it's out in below freezing weather. If you're at about 32, 31, it'll be okay. Ava Mo is calling.
Oh, birds. Answer.
Hello, this is Rich.
Rich, hi, this is Sonia calling from the Squires, Missouri post office.
Hey, Sonia.
And my express driver from Springfield is here right now, and he can either leave your baby chicks with me or take them and leave them at the Ava post office. Which would you prefer?
I would much prefer him to leave them with you.
Much rather with me. I will have them here. They're here right now, so you can swing by whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you've been following along, you might know that we've had problems getting chickens. And so now we just have chickens showing up all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so our chicks are here, but we'll finish this and then we'll go get them.
I ordered chicks from everywhere.
Yeah, we just started ordering.
So there's a piece of this that freezes up, and I don't know what it is, and I've done a whole bunch of research, and the other model, it's got a slightly smaller pump. It does not have this vacuum tank on it. It doesn't do that. I know that because Kevin and Sarah at Living Traditions Homestead are good friends. They have that model, and theirs works all winter long with no problem. Ours, again this year, it went through the same thing. When it gets below about 30 degrees, something in it freezes. The motor won't turn the pump. It's not the vanes. If you look at their website, it says the vanes inside the pump freeze. That's not what it is. That happened to us once this year when it was about 30 degrees and very humid, but that is not what normally happens. It gets to where the motor won't even turn the pump, and that is really frustrating. So if you're really paying attention, you'll notice there's an orange cord here. And what I did this year was I said, hey, I'm going to buy one of those tape things that you use to keep a pipe from freezing. And so I used this. I wrapped it around the pump section, plugged it in, and it didn't help.
And it didn't help.
I was so excited. I thought, man, I've got this
It
figured
keeps
out.
water from freezing. It'll keep this motor from freezing
Yeah,
out.
it didn't. So I wouldn't recommend that as your solution.
So this is being kind of this is really, really dirty. So I thought I could just wipe it off with like a wet cloth. The good people at SuperClean asked us if they could send us some cleaning product. And if we had some equipment and things that get dirty that might need a little extra boost in the cleaning department. And since we actually farm, yeah. The answer was yeah.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of dirty stuff to include this machine right here. So I thought now would be a good time to give this product a try. It says that it dissolves grease super easy, super fast. So I'm going to just start with it on this rag.
All right.
And give it a try, and we'll see how super clean it gets.
I'm curious.
I
I've never
know.
used SuperClean before.
I haven't either, but one of our kids said they have and that it works great. So they're adults. They do things that we don't know about. So anyway, I'm going to give it a go over here. Maybe I'll just kind of spray it down like this. Yep. I would say it's working. Because this is grimy, y'all. Well, it smells good. It's going to smell clean. Now, I'm not going to touch anything that touches milk or any kind of food products with this. This is just like for cleaning the outside of the machine and all of its, other bits and bobs here.
So while she's finishing that, I'll go ahead with what we had to do this winter. We had to drag the machine from the milk barn into our house. So every evening.
Yeah, y'all. Like in the house, he brought this thing. In the living room, to be exact.
But behind
that door.
I drug the machine in every evening after we got finished with our evening milking. I would drag it in, and it would spend the night in the living room, and then the next morning it was not frozen, and I just had to drag it back out to the milk barn. So it's.
Do y'all see these wheels? He would just drag them in, and sometimes it was snowy and wet, and it would just kind of be on the floor. It's concrete, sealed, but it was gross, so I did at least put the towel down. It was bad.
But
nobody wants that in their house.
They don't, and so that's why, for me, it is an actual con of this particular model. Is
right.
If you live in an environment where you're below freezing and it stays below freezing for any period of time. Our experience with this model is you got to do something to keep it warm. I put that tape around it that I just showed you. I put a grow light or a chicken brooder light lamp on it, and as long as it's above about 27 degrees, 26 degrees, that grow light, or sorry, brooder light would keep it warm enough that it would run the next morning.
Heat lamp.
Heat lamp, that's
Call
the
the thing
one.
a heat lamp.
But if it's below 25, there wasn't anything I could do in the barn to keep it running the next day. So it came inside. So a big con for me on this machine. But the model that Kevin and Sarah has, as I mentioned, it does not have that same issue.
And we got ours about a year before they did, and really talked this machine up. I'm just glad that they went with the other model, and it doesn't have the problems. If Melasty, if you're listening, you guys want to send us a different machine, we'd be happy to give it a go.
Or tell us what we're doing wrong,
Well, that too.
because I've looked and can't find it. Man, this stuff works.
Yeah, it does. Let me go have a little bit more of that. I've got some real cow poo back here for some reason. Mud or something. I'm not sure for some reason, yeah, why this has all this on here like this. But it is working. So we try to bring this thing in about once a year and just give it a nice breakdown. We don't like to fix what it broken, but we do like to keep it going. So we're gonna just kind of break it down and see if we could keep it going another year.
I bet we can.
Now, one thing that happens also in the winter is this is the vacuum portion of the machine, and this is the vacuum tank. And anytime you're vacuuming air, and especially with the milk and the moisture collects in this tank down here. And it will collect to the point where there are drain tubes down here underneath on this tank. And one thing you have to make sure of in the winter is that there's no ice built up on these two plungers down here. And make sure that they're sucking up. And that will actually, a lot of times that was my problem, is it wasn't catching a vacuum because there was ice buildup on those plungers. So that's another little tidbit or trick. Okay, this product is working good.
It really is.
Now on this machine, do we have to add oil or anything to this pump? It's
an oil-free motor. You don't have to change oil or I know like some of the freeze dryers and stuff, you end up having to change oil in their pump and motor, but this is not. It's oil-free. Like we've talked to you about the maintenance that we do with it. Like we clean it once a year and we make sure that the hoses and everything are clean.
And that's it. Okay, real quick story. So Rebecca, our oldest, has started milking for us and for her and whatnot. And we had been noticing some of the bottles in the barn had been getting knocked off. And every morning she would go out in there and there'd be a bottle knocked off and a rag knocked off and a bottle knocked off, and like, what in the world? And so then we saw across the ground that looked like snake tracks. So we put some snake catch stuff out there and traps, and nothing for a while.
Then the traps would get knocked down.
Then the traps got knocked down, and we're like, man, that's one big snake to be knocking the trap, like just saying no thank you. So one morning she goes out there to milk. No, it wasn't. It was an evening because it was getting dark. And she goes out there to milk, and she calls on the phone, and she said, "Oh, I need you to bring the gun." And we were like, what is it? She was like, there's the biggest possum I've ever seen standing at the door inside the barn. Well, he went out there and he was able to go get it and relocate it. But at any rate, she walked out there and she was like, oh no, no thank you. She closed that door right back. I laughed so hard.
So it was not actually a big snake. It was a possum.
No, it
that
was a possum
knocking
the whole
things off.
time.
And in the loose ground, its tail looked like a snake track.
Right.
I have an idea.
What?
One of the things that SuperClean sent us
Uh-huh.
was an all-wheel cleaner.
Wheel cleaner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if SuperClean works on milker wheels.
Milk wheels. I bet it will. Oh my goodness.
Well, I tell you what. You try it, see what it does, and
Right.
then SuperClean, I'd like you to leave a comment in the video and let us know if maybe we're the first people to try your product on milker wheels.
That's right. We're going to give it a go. All right. We are going to have the hottest, ready for the showroom milking machine.
That's right.
Tell you what.
Well,
Well, it's cleaner than it was.
no way.
It's good. Yeah. Yeah. It's clean. I bet if these were some aluminum alloys, they'd be sparkling right now. Well, you finish that up and I'll start taking these apart.
Okay.
Okay. So claw design is standard. We really like it because they have creases in the bottom end of them. And whenever you go to put the claw onto the cow, you fold them over like that, and it creates the suction that you need rather than just airflow. So whenever we put it on the cow, onto their teats, we let it be, it's bent like this, and then we'll take it, fold it up like this, crease it, just put a kink in it like you do a water hose, and then let it suction up onto the cow's teat, and then that one's holding. And then you do the next one, and then the next one. And then by the time you get them all on, you can let go of the claw, and it holds itself up there. To release, there's a plunger, and you twist it and catch the suction there, block it off, and then that will release it from the cow's teat. So whenever we're milking, you just reach underneath the claw right here, twist, plunge, and then that releases the suction.
And the other types of milking machines we've seen, and even different ones we tried, they are just solid like this. And so you have to try somehow to get all 4 cups on the cow at the same time. Like they all 4 have to be suctioned on before the thing will work. And so it's like this juggling act of trying to get, how do you get all 4 of them onto the teats? And like one of our cows, her back teats are like that, and the other one, they're like that. And like trying to do that is like this clown act. And instead, you just do them one at a time.
Yeah, we were able to borrow one, and we really liked it so much that this is why we have this one. And that was the problem with that one, was there wasn't any way to cut off the suction so that you could get them on there. It was a lesser expensive piston pump style that you can get from Amazon. And if you're in the market for a milk machine, spending a little bit more and getting one like this, I highly recommend.
Clean in place, clean in place, clean in place.
Yeah. So I'm taking these apart now so that it can be clean. We do this once a week. We take it all apart. We sanitize everything inside and outside and upside down when we bring it in on Mondays. All right. Mondays. Milk machine maintenance Monday. You like that alliteration?
I do.
Now, whenever you're washing these, you have to be sure not to get any water into the black tube, because if you get water into there, this is where your airflow is, and that will cause problems with your suction. So when you're cleaning it, don't get any, this is air, this is not milk. Don't get any water in here. Just do this. Don't get water in it. We've been milking with these teacups for 2 years, and they have held up. These silicone teacups have held up amazing. They still suction really nice. They're still nice and firm, but pliable. They don't hurt the cows, but they really hang on to it. We have a brand new first time mom, little heifer with little baby heifer teats, and it it wants to fall off because hers are so small, but we've gotten it to where it'll even stay on with that.
And there are different size cups that you can order.
Yeah, I think she
So
needs
you
one
can
for
go,
sheep.
well, you can go all the way down to sheep and goats.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think there's like small, medium, and large for cows, and then sheep and goat.
Okay. So then this comes apart into a couple of wowzers. Okay, into several different pieces, and then we just wash it in the sink with regular soap and water. This I do. But because there's a gasket in there and you never know what's hiding, we make sure we take it apart once a week and really get everything good, because cleanliness in raw milk and cleanliness and temperature are the keys to amazing raw milk. So this all completely comes apart. I'm going to take it in and wash it, several pieces. Another good point about the Melasty milker is that with their kit, they send an extra claw, like regulator cup. This almost looks like a regulator for scuba diving. They send an extra one of these as well, because if any of this stuff breaks, you're kind of sitting duck. If you can't milk your cow, you're out there hand milking. And that takes a minute. I'm going to take this stuff inside and clean it. In our previous Melasty review, we showed you exactly how to clean the tubes and how to clean all of these. So I'm going to spare you that. Make sure you check out that video whenever you're done with this if you're interested in how to make sure all of the interior of these parts are sanitized. We went and cleaned the hoses, and now let's just put it back together so that it looks all nice and beautiful.
All right.
I learned, put the gasket, the red gasket, onto the top of the regulator before you try to put it into.
And then the bottom piece, there's only one way. There's a plastic piece that sticks up. It goes right there. So there's only one way you can put that on. And then you make sure that this little rubber gasket, that thing is key. Make sure that guy sits right down in there. That seals everything up. And we learned, really, two people, it's much easier because one person can just hold steady pressure and it seals down real nice and tight and even. If that little red gasket isn't even, you don't get a good seal, and then it just doesn't suction right, so it doesn't milk right. Everything plug right back in.
When we first got this machine, it was really hard. The lines were pretty stiff. It was really in a cold. It was really hard to get it on and off. Just a smidge of Vaseline on the inside of the tube helps it to slide on easier. But since it's a little older now, it comes on and off a lot easier than it used to. It really used to be a booger, but now it goes really easily. Vaseline, just a tiny bit on the inside.
There we go. Put back together for another year.
Okay, all in all, review 2 years, thousands of milking, one small milker, thousands of gallons of milk coming in and going out. What's your overall rating?
Definitely an A. I wouldn't give it an A plus just because of that freezing issue, but definitely an A. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I really like it because my primary thing is the clean in place and the time saving that goes on. And we milk year round, and there are a few cold months that we run into a problem. But again, get the other model like Kevin and Sarah have, and you're not going to have any problems at all.
One good thing about this model is now this is an older version of the TK1. The new version of it has places for 2 arms, and it's real easy to buy a kit, and it becomes a 2-cow milker at the same time. This particular model, which is different than Kevin and Sarah's. So with this model, were we to do it again, we're milking 3 cows right now. We would get that 2-cow milker, and it's got 2 arms, 2 suctions, 2 cups, something like 2 everything, and you can milk 2 cows at the same time. So another plus for this model.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know in the comments what you guys have experienced. Do you have a Melasty? Do you milk? You know, all of the fun milking type questions and comments. We love that kind of stuff. And until next time, hey, we got to go get chicks.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.